Good afternoon, Hassan. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay. Now, can you see me?
No.
Question is, do you want to see me? Is the audio good? No echo, nothing? Let there be light. Unable to start video. There's some, you can't start your video because the host has stopped it. Hassan?
Yeah. What happened, John?
I'm not able to start the video. It says the host has stopped the video or something like that.
Oh.
Check your settings.
Yeah, doing that.
Still not able to. Should I rejoin?
No. I think when I created this, the option was disabled. Okay, so let me just make you as a host so that you can. Now, can you try?
Now can I try? Now can you hear? Now can you see?
Yeah, now I can see.
Good afternoon, everyone who's joining in. If this is the first time that you're coming for this webinar hosted by Numerical Analytics, please say where you're joining us from, which part of India or which part of the world. And if it's, you're coming here for the second time, just write second time, third time. Or if you've been n greater than 5, write n greater than 5. Be mathematical. But definitely we want to welcome everyone who's here for the first time.
You are muted, John. The voice is not coming. John, your voice.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is everyone can hear me? Cool. On behalf of Numerical Analytics, I just want to welcome everyone here this Saturday afternoon. And today it's going to be me and Hassan and me going to share some tips and have some great time with all of you. So just feel comfortable, grab a cup of coffee if you want to go and get that right away. But let's give you a little overview of what's coming up today. Here we go. Today we're going to take a look at Finance Solver on the TI Nspire. And you know why I'm really excited about this when we were planning this webinar. I told Hassan that this is probably one of those areas that's less talked about, but most inquired about. Everyone wants to know about calculus and analysis and paper 3 and solve this paper and solve that paper. But today I thought, this is also there in the curriculum as such, perhaps not with that kind of weightage, but there are things about this feature of the calculator that for some reason or the other, I think it's quite exciting. And hopefully at the end of this hour and a half, whatever we spend time together, we all would be as excited about the Finance Solver, okay? So I feel it is probably the least talked about and most inquired about. When I say least talked about, I'm also talking about people who want to talk about the calculator, and it's about the graphing features, it's about the widgets and all those really cool things, the programming, not so much about the Finance Solver. So we'll talk about it today. Here's another thing that I find it very interesting about the Finance Solver. The same menu options that you see on the CAS version is available on the non-CAS version, which I think it's kind of unique about this particular menu, because whenever we talk about CAS and non-CAS, we said, oh, this is possible in the CAS and this is not possible in the non-CAS. And so in the exam, all those kind of things. So I thought this is something that perhaps can be shared with you, saying that, what, it's good to know the menu because you may not use all of it, but who knows, at some point in time, you'll be saying, oh, perhaps you could have done it this way. Perhaps this is a better way to do it. So I think this is another unique thing. And plus the other thing is that, most, if I would use the word cool, most cool apps of the TI Nspire are found in the document menu. All of you know the layout. You've got a scratch pad and you've got the document, and certain things that are featured on the document are not featured on the scratch pad, because the scratch pad, as the word suggests, is just like a scratch pad. You do some rough work and then and then you can save it. You can save the document, not the scratch pad. So there are some wonderful things about the document, and in fact, I have told many of my students just ignore the scratch pad. But about this Finance Solver, this menu, it's the same menu, whether it's CAS or whether it's non-CAS, whether it's scratch pad or whether it's document. So I think there's something about this thing that makes it available for everyone. And therefore, that's another reason why we should really, really look at this menu today. Another thing which I found is that whatever we discuss today, it's going to be a discussion come workshop. This will give you opportunities to collaborate. This particular menu, this will give you opportunities to collaborate with non-math teachers. Now, how cool is that? Especially teachers and students who are involved in business studies, economics, So this is, I feel, just as an outset, as I lay out the introduction for what's coming up today, these are things that I want to keep your mind open to. All right, so not just about a Finance Solver. We don't talk about this so much as highly as calculus and differential equations, all those wonderful things, and they are wonderful, don't get me wrong. But here's an option that can give us opportunities also to collaborate. And you all know, as IB educators, how vital is that? If there is an opportunity for us to be able to collaborate with other educators, how vital is that? What does my next slide says? It says that, what, I know I told you right at the beginning, go get your cup of coffee, but now I'm going to say something else. If you want to get the optimal best out of this webinar, this next hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we spend together, you need your handheld. It's one thing listening and watching and doing all this thing, but today we are going to give opportunities to actually, learning by doing, that tactile feel. So you have your handheld, go and get it. If you don't have your handheld, you can take a minute, go run and go and get it. So coffee in hand and a calculator in hand. Just make sure that you don't drink the calculator and don't operate on that thing. Don't, I'm sure you won't do that. It's just very cheesy of me. But it will really be beneficial if you can get your handheld, and that would be an excellent and optimal use of today's time together. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Hassan to go through the first overview, and then we'll take it up further. So Hassan, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you. And welcome all the participants to this webinar. And as John rightly said, like this is the opportunity, like you can have a discussion with non-mathematics teachers also after learning the financial tools, like how they work and what they are. So let me just take you to the calculator first, where we can find this finance solver. So as John said, like we can have this finance solver in Scratchpad as well as in the document section. So in the Scratchpad, you can see we have two applications. One is calculator and another is graph. So if you go to the calculator application, let me just open. So you will get a Scratchpad. So whatever you do in the Scratchpad cannot save with the document. So I don't know how many of you use the Scratchpad. I personally don't use a Scratchpad. So if you go to menu, you can see a finance option, and you can see all the options available in the finance, like finance solver, TBM function, amortization, cash flow, interest conversion, and dates between the dates. So it is here you can find the finance solver. This is Scratchpad. I don't know how many of you use the Scratchpad. I usually use the document section. So if I go to new, and if I add a calculator page, so keep this in mind. Finance solver is only available. This finance option is only available in the calculator application. So if you are in a calculator application, then only you can use the finance solver here. So if I add, so no other application provide you the finance solver. So only in the calculator application. If you go and add a calculator page, you can see the blank page is there. And if you go to menu, the option number 8 is your finance. So here you get the finance option. So in the finance option, as you can see, we have finance solver, we have TVM function. Finance solver can also be known as TVM solver, but yeah, finance solver, because it can do many other things as well other than TVM. So we have TVM function, we have amortization, we have cash flow, we have date conversion, we have days, interest conversion, and days between the days. So we are going to see every options available on this calculator, and we will see how they work and how we can solve the question using all these things. It is going to be a very fantastic webinar, I must say. Like you can do many things. Okay, just hang with us. You can do many things. So let me just take you the finance solver. As you open a finance solver, you get a window, something like this. And as John said, like this is available in cash or non-cash both. If you go into press to test mode, nothing going to be changed. Okay, so for the both calculators, this finance solver remains same. So we have certain options here, like on this window. This is single window, like you don't have to go to any other window. This is a single window. You can solve everything inside this window. So here we have a certain options available. How you can navigate between these options is by using tab key. You can use your tab key to navigate between the options. Okay, so there are certain options available. Let us see what are these options and how we can use these. Let me just share my presentation. So this is the finance solver template. So this is a window. When you open a finance solver, this window will pop up, and you can solve all the available questions on finance on this single window. So what is this N? This N indicates the number of payments. Okay, it can be in months, it can be in years. You can put it in years, you can put it in months. Then you have an interest rate, I, in percentage. You can put negative in case of there is a depreciation. Then you have a present value, PV. you have to put negative in case there is a cash flow away. So if the cash flow is away, you have to put negative sign to indicate, to show that the cash flow is away. Then you have a additional payment option, like if you are doing some additional payment to your loan in month per month, you can put it in PMT, that is additional payment. Then you have a future value FV. In case of cash flow away, again you have to put negative sign before putting the future value. Then you have a number of payments per year. So if you are doing a single payment in a year, you have to put 1. If you are doing multiple payments in a year, you have to put that particular numbers. Okay, so this is the payment per year. So if you are doing 12 payments in a year, you have to put 12. If you are doing one single payment for a year, you have to put 1. Likewise, this option, second last option, is a compounding period per year. So if the compounding is annually, you have to put 1. If it is quarterly, 4. Likewise, for if it is days, you have to put 365. So whatever compounding is there in the question, you have to put accordingly in this option. Then whatever investment you do, or you take a loan, or whatever you do, if the payment is in the end of the year or end of the investment, you have to put end here, else you have to put the beginning if everything is in the beginning. So by default it is end. Okay, so by default the option comes as end. So how these options work, let us see an example. So over to you, John.
Thanks, Hassan. Thanks. Just keep that slide for a minute before I come in.
Yeah.
A couple of things, okay? First, before we take an example to understand this bit, one of the thing about this option in the calculator, like Hassan rightly said, you have to go to the calculator page, and then the option, under menu, you'll find, I think it's number 8, which gives you the finance option. This solver is a solver where the answers come within itself. I don't know the technical term. What I mean by technical term is that, sometimes they're like you have a menu, like, you go on the graph window settings, and, you go across the different fields, you enter your different fields for the window settings, and then you hit enter, and then the result shows on the graph app. Am I right? But when you're using the finance solver, the results will show within the fields. So that's something that, if you've never used this before, I know many of you must have used this before, but if you've never used this, first time when you're using it, even I was kind of like, what is this? So there is probably a technical term, and even if you know what the technical term means when the answer comes within that pop-up window itself, please write it down, and we'll, it's time to learn, right? So as you probably are aware, there's the solution will not appear on the calculator screen, but it will appear within this window itself. So even your students, first time when they're using it, they might find it a little weird. That's the way it is. So the other thing is that the interest must always be marked as the percent, all right? So you're not going to convert it into 0.03 if it's 3%. Just write it as 3. And as Hassan rightly said, probably the confusion that happens with many students is when to enter it as a negative value and when to enter the positive value. And the simplest way to think about it is this: if money is leaving your pocket, then it's negative. If money is something that's coming to you, if you're acquiring loan, that loan that the bank gives, it's coming to you, coming inside your pocket, maybe not literally coming to your pocket, but coming to you, that's a positive value. So if you're paying something, if it's going out of your hand, that's negative. Okay, that's one nice way to look at it. Another thing which I thought I should let you know is that, here's a quote by somebody, thanks Hassan, here's a quote by someone, I don't have the whole quote, but it was something like this. I don't remember it verbatim. Someone said that if you want to know the priority of a person, okay, Hassan, you may stop sharing. Thanks. If you want to know someone's priorities in life, take a look at their bank statement. I'll repeat that again. Okay, I'm sure nobody will be happy to share their bank statement, but here's the thing. I found it very interesting in one book that I read that I can say that I love. These are my priorities in my life. My mom is the most important person for me in my life. I can say whatever I want to say, but if you really want to know what my priorities are or what someone's priorities are, take a look at the bank statement, because there you'll know how much importance you give to whom. You know, if you look at a, you know, someone knows that, hey, okay, I don't want to give examples, but here, if you look at someone's bank statement and say, okay, there's a lot of money spent on gadgets and electronics, that means what's more important for this person in his life? I thought it was interesting. I mean, you may agree, you may disagree, but I thought I'll just put it out here today because we're talking about finances, and you know, what a better way to look at all these things. This is our first question we're going to take a look at using the finance solver, and it's an example from, I think it's a Pearson textbook, or maybe the Oxford, sorry, it might be the Oxford textbook. So it's a question straight from there, and we're just going to use this as an example to go through that example, through that option of finance solver that Hassan just quickly showed us about. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this example. It says Rafael invests 5,000 Brazilian real. And this is a great, the thing, like I said, it may not be as not a flashy subject like calculus, but it gives a lot of opportunities for international mindedness, especially when you come across, you know, words to do with different countries and the currency there. And, you know, like I said, you know, while we have opportunities to collaborate with teachers who are teaching economics and all that, we're talking about recession and all that. It's interesting to see how much the currency is doing as regards, or you know, compared to your own currency. So here's Rafael, who invests 5,000 Brazilian real in a bank offering 2.5 interest compounded annually. All right, 2.5% interest annually. Now, when it's not given, it's often to be assumed that this interest is per annum. Okay, if it's not given, it's per annum. The interest is computed annually, but that rate of interest is per annum. And we'll look at the interest conversion later on in the menu it comes through. But this is what the question is. Rafael invests 5,000 money. 5,000 is leaving his hands, his pocket, his bank. Leaving his hands is going to the bank, actually. He's investing there, it's leaving him. That's why I didn't use the word leaving the bank. Leaving his pocket, I said, you know, I mean, these days we don't have, you know, use it all there, but in our pockets as cash or as physical money. But keep that in mind. What is it leaving? It's leaving. Even though he's investing, is leaving. So it has to be entered as a negative sign. 2.5. I'm going to switch to my calculator screen, and that's my calculator screen for you all. I'm going to use the finance solver, and the question had said, calculate the amount of money he has after 5 years. So the first thing we want to enter here is 5. I'm going to use tab to navigate to the next field, and it says 2.5. As I said, just enter 2.5 as it is. Don't do any conversion. All right, and then it says that the present value. The present value is what we often refer to as the principal, and he's investing. But remember, it's leaving his hands, so you must use a negative sign as you put in 5,000, as in this case, Rafael. If you have your calculators with you, I'd encourage you use these, all right, as it's going on. Okay, I'll give you an opportunity also to practice on your own, maybe one question, but use it, because the more you use it, you'll have questions and you'll know how it goes. So it's negative because it's leaving his hands. And then there's payment. Is there any payment that's happening? No, so we can just leave it as it is, okay? So leave the next, there's no payment. He's not receiving any, he's not giving anything in those 5 years. He's just made one-time payment. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I know when we were discussing, Hassan and I, there's another way to do it. So we'll come to that later on. And if some of you have some other ideas, do let us know, all right? Future value, we don't know. That's what we want to find out, right? It says calculate the amount of money he has after 5 years. So we're going to leave it blank for now. Hit tab and go back. This PPY is payments per year. Is he going to get anything per year, or is he making anything per year? Well, it was just one-time investment, a 5,000 Brazilian real, one time. So I'm just going to leave it at 1. And there it says compounded annually. All right, compounded annually. So you have, you can leave it at 1 there also. Okay. So keeping that in mind, you can now navigate to your future value here in that particular field. That's what you're looking for. And there you have to hit enter. Okay, so for you using tab to navigate through the different fields, you have to hit enter. When you hit enter, future value is 5657.04. Normally you keep it to 2 decimal places when it comes to money, and that should be the amount that Rafael makes at the end of 5 years with those kind of parameters. Okay, 2.5 interest. I hope this is clear. Okay, if there's any question, just do let us know on the chat, and one of our panelists will surely get back to you. I'm going to go and take a look at the second part of the same question, which says, calculate the amount of money that he has in the bank after 3 more years. Oh, sorry, before that, there's something else. I missed that. Look at that question, okay? I'm just looking at this part. So this was the first part. Then it says, after 5 years, that means, now 5 years later, he's got this 5657.04, whatever amount. Raphael withdraws all his money. He's taken his money back from that bank, and he puts it in another bank that offers 2.5% interest per annum, compounded monthly. That's the difference. This is 2.5% per annum. This is also 2.5% per annum. Those both are the same things. However, the difference is this one earlier, it was compounded annually. This one is compounded monthly. Okay? Lalach, greed, but that's okay. I mean, we can discuss all those things later on. But what we want to do is that part B says, calculate the amount of money that he has in his bank now after those 3 years. All right? So the only difference right now we have is whatever money he's got after the 5 years is the new investment with the negative sign. Okay? So it's going away from his pocket right now, and it is compounded monthly. And we've got to calculate that after 3 years. So we go to our calculator screen, okay? And I'll make that switch, those changes. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to copy this future value from here, and that's going to be my present value. Remember, I want to put it with a negative sign. So I'm going to maintain the negative sign, Control V. Oh, what happened? Syntax error. Okay, fine. I'm just going to type it as it is, 5657.04. And number of years, I've got to change it to 3. It's 2.5. That's cool. Future value, we'll leave it there right now. I'm going to go tab. Payments per year, no more payments. Compounded monthly. So I'm going to put 12 here. All right, 12 times it's being compounded, although this is just going to be one payment. So I now come to my future value field, and there I have to hit enter. Don't forget that. Hit enter. 6097, there you go. All right, so after 3 years, if he's invested whatever you got from the first scheme, he's invested into the second bank, which gave you, at the same rate of interest, it gave you being compounded monthly, give you slightly different amount, and maybe it can lead to a good discussion. Okay, what's the difference? Is it worth it? How much would you have got if you had stayed there for 8 years? Small discussions like that you could have. Should the pay also be 12? Should the pay also be 12? If you make the pay 12, then you're talking of the second last fee, right? He's just making it once. So if you're making the pay 12, then you have to adjust the compounded period, because he's not getting paid 12 times, no? At the end of, see, then you have to adjust something here. At the end of 3 years.
I think, John, we can put payments per year 12, but we need to change N to now.
That's what I was
in
saying.
months.
Then you have to change N.
N
exactly.
to months.
Then you have
yeah.
to change N. But if I put N as, thank you, Mrs. Naik, this is exactly what Hassan and I discussed. You can do that. That's the other way to do it. Okay, so that means N has to be 36, N times 12, and then you'll have to make that adjustment. So let's just check that again. Thank you. So if I make this as 3 times 12, and you know what? Here's another cool thing, and another reason why I really appreciate what Mrs. Naik said. I can enter N as an expression. Watch. I can enter N as 3 times 12. Okay, I'm not going to enter this 36. Okay, I'll let the calculator do its thing. I can enter that. The others you'll have to enter as the number. Okay, this one is pretty cool. You can leave it like that. And now this time I'm going to come down to the payments per year here, and here I make it 12 because compounding period is 12. Payments, it's almost like interpreting it as, okay, if the bank is going to compound per month, that means they're reserving certain amount per month, but you are withdrawing after 3 years. So instead of that 3, it becomes 3 times 12, and then it would probably be the same amount if I go to the future value and I just hit enter. You see there's no change even if I hit enter. Okay, so it's the same thing whether you do 3 times 12 or just keep it as 3. Can't see the calculator. Mrs. Naik, can I just zoom in a little bit? One sec. Can see now. Okay. Wow, I didn't do anything. That's all right. But please bring get your calculators. This is going to be fun. I hope this was clear this part, and thank you for that suggestion. Also, you could have entered it both ways, just how you interpret the money part of it. Okay, so now with that, I had certain other questions. Here's my plan, or here's our plan, I must say.
John, my observation.
Yeah,
It's just my observation. You can
yeah.
comment on
Please,
this.
please, please.
We have changed like payments per year as
Huh.
12, like and we have changed number of payments and as 36. But do we need to change interest rate as well?
Do we need to change?
Interest rate,
नहीं नहीं
because
नहीं
this
नहीं नहीं
interest
नहीं
rate
नहीं, वो
is
उसको रहने दो वैसे,
still
वो that's
per annum.
always
Yeah,
per annum.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, because the calculator is interpreting it, that's why it's asking how many payments per year, right? It's interpreting it that way. Make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So that's one part of this menu. We want to talk about the other parts of the menu also. Our goal is at the end of this webinar, we'll give a question where we'll have different ways to do it. Okay, so our goal is, let's go to the menu. Let's go to the whole menu. First of all, like Hassan said, that to get into the menu, you have to press, go to calculator, right? Now to get out of this box, you have to hit escape. That will take you to the calculator screen. Okay, so to get to this finance solver, like Hassan said, you go to menu, you go to number 8, which is finance, and then you come to finance solver, and we saw number 1. Okay, our idea is we'd like to go through each of these lists, because normally we just go through questions and all that. So we thought today we'll just go to the menu, look at all of that, and at the end we'll look at one question and we'll say, okay, which one we prefer. Different, like we had this discussion right now. Mrs. Naik said, okay, you could have made that, So we'll go through the other options also. So since we saw finance solver, and I said that, once you have this, to exit this, to come back to the calculator, you have to just hit escape and you'll be back to the calculator page. So now that we'll go to the second part of the finance menu, that is TVM functions. The TVM functions are, understand that they are not two different or separate ideas. TVM stands for time value money. It's the same. Sometimes textbooks, they use the TVM instead of finance solver, so they are used synonymously. So the same terms, period, number of periods, interest rate per year, present value, payment amount, future value, you saw all these things there in that solver, right? So that's the interesting part of this menu. There are certain things you'd have seen there. How to get particular issues, particular values. So I think today's webinar is more about seeing the overview of this menu, not just about looking at questions. So I just gave one example, but we'll come to a final example where we can then think and decide which is the best way to do it, or what are other ways to do it. Okay, but to illustrate each of these menu items, we'll take one example. I hope that's clear. So they may not be broad or great or deep questions, but just to illustrate the functions of each of these menu items, we'll take examples that will kind of cover up the whole menu on finance. All right, that's our plan, and I hope you will stick with us towards the end. But calculator in hand, all right? So here are the 5 options, and to illustrate a bit more about what number of periods, which already Hassan had given an overview, but to illustrate it with an example, I will pass it back to Hassan. Hassan, go for it. We can't hear you. You're muted, Hassan. So you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, so as John said, like we have done this in finance solver. So if we go back to finance solver, menu, finance, and if I go to finance solver, we can see all these options are available here, like N, I, PV, PMT, FV. Every option is available here. So why do we need the TVM separately? That's my point. So without further ado, let me just show you first how we can find a particular value using a TVM. Okay, so if I see, I have one question here. So let me just take this question. Yeah. So I have a question. I can solve this question using finance solver as well. You can solve it using finance solver, but I want to show you something different. What else we can do with these kind of functions? Separate functions available for all the options on finance solver. So in this question, Joanna invests $4,000 in an interest bearing account for a period of 5 years. So, and will be 5 years. Calculate the monthly interest rate if Joanna invests has a balance of 10,000 at the end of 5th year term, given it is a compounded monthly. So we can solve this question by using a simple finance solver as well. But let me just show you how you can solve using a TVM. Okay. And then we'll see what is the use of this TVM, why they have given the TVM separately in the calculator. So let me just take you to finance TVM. And here what I need to find first, let me just check. I have to find a monthly interest rate. So as I asked by John also, like in finance solver, when we put interest, we need to put as annually. So whatever the answer I get, it will be an annual interest rate. So after that, I have to divide it by 12. So if I want to find interest, I have to go to interest rate per year option. So in the TVM, so let me just go back, menu, finance, TVM function, and here is the option interest rate per year. So when I click this, I'll get this. So to get the syntax, because many of the educators don't know the syntax. What is the syntax of TVMI? What is the syntax? So to know the syntax, so let me just tell you where you find the syntax. So if you can see a book key here beside the 9 key, you can see on the extreme right side there's a book key. If I click this, I'll get all the functions. So if I want to find the TVM, I just press T and I'll just scroll down. So TVM, yeah, here TVMI. So you can see TVM has a certain syntax with it. So I'll just copy it. I'll just copy, Control C. I'll go back on the calculator page. I'll add a comment. I'll add insert a comment, and here I'll say Control V and press enter. So TVMI will be a comment for me. Now I can use this TVMI as a function, and I can find the value of interest. Okay, so let me just go back, finance. Let me go to TVM, interest. Here, N is, I need to find. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, interest I need to find. Yeah, okay. TVMI. Okay. So here N is 5. N is 5. I'm putting it in years. Okay.
Sorry, Hassan, could you repeat? One of the participants would like to know how you got this.
Yeah.
Which
okay.
one? What did she want? Indrani, what did you want? Which part she wanted to retrieve? How to get TVM or?
No, I think the catalog.
Okay.
The catalog.
So yeah. So can you see on the calculator the 9 key? Beside the 9 key, you have two keys. Okay. First left key is a mat template, and on the right side, extreme right, is a book key. So this is the catalog. So if you press this catalog, you'll get this, all the available options. So if you want to find TVM, just press T, on your calculator, T, and you get all the functions starting with T. Now you just need to scroll down to TVM. Okay, so TVMI, TVM FV, TVMN, any a function you require a syntax, you just go to the catalog and you can copy the syntax and you can paste it on a calculator page for your reference. Okay, so I wanted TVMI. So what I did is I went to this syntax, I just selected it and just press Control C to copy it. Okay, and then went back and I commented it as TVM. So how did I comment it is, just go to menu, action, insert comment, and just press Control V. So the syntax will be pasted for you. So this is the syntax for TVMI for the interest per year. Okay, interest rate per year. So let me just find the interest rate per year here. I'll go to finance, TVM function, interest rate per year. So N is 5. I'm putting it in years, comma, present value. Okay, what is the principal? So Joanna is investing. So money is going out. So it is a cash flow away. So I have to put negative 4,000, comma, is there any payment, extra payment, additional payment per month? Nothing. Put it 0. Future value 10,000. So she is investing. So after 5 years, she will get 10,000 rupees. Then payment per year, I'm putting it 1 because I'm putting a month in a year. So like that, you can relate. Compound period is monthly. So I'll put it at 12. And there is the last option called payment at. So it would be beginning or it would be end. If you just press, it will by default take it as end, or if you want to specifically mention it. So for 0, if you put 0, it means end. And if you put 1, it means beginning. Okay, so I'm putting it as 0, or you can leave it as blank. Okay, just press enter, you get a interest rate of 18.4665. Okay, so this interest rate is for per year. So if you want to find interest rate per month, you can just copy this and you can divide it by 12. So you get an answer in per month.
Just
So
sort
here,
of, just to
yeah,
add something, just to add something to what Hassan is doing right now, that payment at, you know, it depends on the context of the question, right? Sometimes
correct.
if it is something like a uh, annuity or some retirement plan, you know, somewhere where you an investment was done, and then, you know, at the start of the month that money is, you know, uh, is received, that comes in, or if it's something like a rent that needs to be paid, which is, you know, normally at the start of the month, or a salary. So I think that's how you take a call on whether the payment at, is it at the beginning of the month, or is it at the end of the month, or is it at the beginning of the year, or is it at the end of the year? So in the context of the question, you should be able to interpret when that is. Thought I'll just add that.
Yeah. So this is how you, yeah, right, Shazana.
We'll come to
So
that, Mrs. Naik.
yeah, so this is how you can find the interest rate by using the TVM function. You can even do it by finance solver. So why they have given all these template differently? Let me just take you to the next question and show you how we can use this in investigation. Okay, so next question is also a very simpler question. You can use this, you can solve this question using your finance solver as well, but I want to show you how you can use your tvm uh, uh, syntaxes uh, to solve this question more appropriately and more understandable way. Okay, so as you can see on my snapshot also, this is what we can do. So let me just read out the question. So Maria invests rupees 25,000 into a saving account that pays, let me just minimize this,
4.25 interest.
4.25% interest compounded monthly. Now there is a two question. Calculate the amount of money in the saving account after 3 years and determine how many years it will take for account to reach 40,000. So these two parts you can do very simply using a finance solver. So let me just show you how this TVM function can help you here. So in first part, what I want to find is the amount after 3 years. Okay, so let us say amount after n years. What will be the amount after 5 years? What will be the amount after 7 years? What will be the amount of after 10 years? So to answer this question, like you want to find the amount after a certain period of time, we can use this TVM function. We can define this TVM function, TVM as a function. Okay, as a function, we can define it as a function. We can create a graph out of it, and we can trace the graph at any value we want to find. So let me just show you here what I'll do. I'll store a TVM future value function as fx, and I'll try to create a graph, and I try to investigate at certain period of time what will be the amount, and at a particular amount will reach after how many years. So how I can do this? This is a unique feature. Just say go to menu, finance, TVM function. Now I want to find the future value. Okay, so what I'll do, first I'll show you how to find a future value after 3 years, and then I can show you how you can store it as a function. Okay, I'll take it a future value here. So TVM of future value comes, I don't know the syntax, so what I can do, I can go back to the catalog, I can copy and paste, or I can just read it from there and put the value inside the TVM argument. So here, future value after 3 years, I'll put 3 comma, syntax is given on the screen for all of you to see. Interest rate is 4.25 annually, comma, present value. So Maria is investing, so I need to put minus 25,000, comma, any additional payment? No, I'll put 0, comma, I'll put 1 as payment per year. I'll put 12 because it is saying me the compounded monthly. And for payment at, I'll say 0. Okay, in the end of the investment. So as I hit enter, it gives me the result. Okay, so after 3 years, the amount will reach to 28,393.225. Okay. So what if I ask you after 5 years, you just go back, hit enter, change the value of 3 to 5, hit enter, it gives you the value after 5 years. What happens when value reaches 40,000? What about after 10 years? I'll just go back and change the value to 10. So you can see I'm just changing the value of n and getting the answer. So I'm getting the answer around 40,000. If I go back, if I say 11, around 40,000. So I can investigate like this when the value reaches 40,000. There's a comment. I'm unable to copy the syntax from Tvm catalog. Okay, I'll come back to that, Indrani ma'am. No issues. So, what else I want to show you here? Like you are changing the value of n. You are investigating like at what time the value reaches to 40,000. We can have a good conversation with the student like at what time. So we can see like between 11 to 12 years we will reach the value of 40,000. What else I can do? I can just copy this. I change the value of n to a variable x and I'll store this as a function. I'll store this as a function. I don't know who thought of this. Like we can do like this also. We can store this. Now the function has been stored. Okay, so now the function has been stored as fx. So now let me just maximize this so that you can see. So now my tvm future value function has been stored. What I can do, I can just go to my graph like what we usually do in the algebra classes. We generally go to the graph, hit enter, nothing will appear here. We just need to go to zoom settings and just say zoom fit, and you can see the graph of the function. This is the function of future value. Okay, so this is the function of future value. So we have stored the future value, we got the graph. Now we can go to menu, we can go to trace, and we can investigate. Like if I put 3, it should give me the exact answer, 28,393.225, what we have got here. So you can see we can investigate here. Like what if after 4 years, just hit 4, hit enter. What if after 10 years, just hit 10, it gives you the value. So you can move it around and you can play and you can ask the student what will the value after a certain period of time. So now the question was how many years it will take to reach the account 40,000. Okay, so let's just go back, press escape to come out of the trace, hit tab, just write 40,000. So what we will do, we'll draw a line, horizontal line parallel to x-axis at a value of 40,000, hit enter, it gives me this graph.
Hassan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hassan, there was one question by Indrani. She just was finding it difficult to copy that
syntax.
Yeah,
Okay. So
can you just show that?
Yeah. Okay. So you can see the catalog. You just go there, TVMI. Just take your cursor anywhere on this. Keep pressing your shift key and move your navigation pad. Okay. Just keep pressing your shift key and move from right to left. When it will highlight completely, just press Control C. It's as simple as that. Let me just again tell you, just go to the extreme right, take your cursor to here, keep pressing shift key, don't move a finger from shift key, and then try to use your navigation pad and just highlight everything, and now copy it. So like that you can copy and just press
People
escape.
who are listening to this afternoon, if you like something that's you're watching, please, give Hassan an encouragement, give a thumbs up, this is fabulous. Whoever thought that you could have done something like he used the word explore and investigation quite often, and normally we just think of finance option as just, use the finance of, but look at this guy, he's brought it to the graph and he's exploring there. So if you think there's something new that you're learning and something, just give it a thumbs up. Okay. Let's be a little encouraging. I really liked it when he shared this bit.
Thank you, John. Okay, so now we can find the intersection. We can go to menu, analyze graph, and we can find the intersection here. So now we can find like after 11.078 years, we will reach a value of 40,000. So like that you can do. You can even increase the value of F2 to find a different value. You can just hit tab, you just go and you can just change the value to, let's say, 20,000. So in this,
Hassan, just 1 minute, huh? Just 1 minute. I just
yeah.
want to, I'm just looking at this. Mrs. Naik said she cannot copy. The variable is not defined, it says. Which variable, Mrs. Naik, what are you referring to? Is it back to this function that he had defined as ffx?
I cannot copy variable not defined. No, Shraddha ma'am, what you did is let me just show you what Shraddha ma'am has done. So Shraddha ma'am has done, she pastes the value and she hit enter. So it says variable not defined.
Achha.
You need not to do this. What you can do, you just go to menu, action, and there is an option called insert comment. When you insert a comment, it says C in a circle. So now you can paste here and hit enter. Now it will not say any error. Yes, Mohit sir, thank you. So now you can see like why we have this TVM function when we have a finance solver. So now you
exactly.
can see
There's so much that is what that was the whole idea, because when you have finance solver, everyone says when you have this option, why do you go? But there's so many benefits to all this multi-dimensional learning and discussion.
So
how to store again, there's somebody who's asking for how to repeat to store the TVM function. It's okay. Let's answer the questions. Okay, Hassan, I really believe in getting
so
questions
can you
answered
please
first.
repeat how to store TVM function? Yes, I can. Wait. So let me just show you again. Like I have copy and pasted. Let me just show you in another page. Let me just go back to my calculator. So this is my empty screen. So I can go to menu, finance. I'll just take future value, TVM FV, future value. I can write the whole syntax here. So let me just go here and just let me write the whole syntax. So I can say now, let me just take it as a variable only. So first, what I need to do here, I need to define how I'm going to store it. So what I'll say, I'll store it as a new function, g of x. Okay, g of x. I'll say control mat template. It gives me the template of storing a variable, then tvm. So now before doing this, you can write this syntax. Okay, just write this syntax like we do in a algebra class or a calculus class, how we store it. So this is the syntax of storing any function. So now what I'll do, I'll create a function for future value. I'll go to menu, I'll go to finance, I'll go to tvm function, I'll select future value. Okay, so now I can write the whole syntax here with x, the number of year as a variable, x, comma 4.25 as a rate of interest, comma minus 25,000 because the value is going out, the cash is outflow, comma 0, no additional payment, comma 1 payment per year, comma 12, comma 0. Just hit enter, it says done. So this is how you can store a variable or store a function. And
I'll
then
just add something. Add something, Hassan.
Yes.
This is how we need to learn math. And I know that you said this is, when we store a variable in algebra class, in math class, it's all part under the same umbrella. So for me, the thing is that whether it's statistics or whether it's finance, mathematics, or whatever it is, and yes, there's a lot of emphasis on or the use for finance options and these kind of questions, amortization, annuities in AI. But I believe the pedagogy, the method, the way we learn should be the same, that incorporates all the different things. Okay, that's something that I just wanted to add. That's so beautifully that Hassan has brought it out in this one, in this last few minutes. Go ahead, Hassan.
Yeah. So, any other question regarding this, like how we can use this? See, we could have used finance solver, but what is the point of using finance solver when we can investigate the things? Like we can solve both the part in one graph. Okay, so
I might want to add something more, Hassan. Okay, this just because I think we wanted to say right at the beginning that if you're just looking at exam, because sometimes, everyone is so caught up with, what's required for the exam, or for the exam, finance solver is good enough, we are just using that thing. But if you think beyond exam and just say learning, these are the things that really excite and bring out the other emotions of, and wait till the next parts that come up. Okay. So if you really enjoyed so far, or there's something new, just keep.
So
keep at it, okay? Don't go away.
So sometimes students say, ma'am, sir, how can we visualize these things? Like, can we visualize finance? This is how you can visualize the future value. So this is how you can visualize things. Okay. So this is, So in TVM function, for the other values also, you can do the similar thing, similar way. There is a syntax. You need to put everything in a syntax. Where you get the syntax? You get the syntax in the catalog, and you can use it. So I would suggest you to use future value syntax more often, because it can help you in visualizing things more clearly. Then let me come to the next part. Next part is okay. So first we have seen finance solver. We'll come back to finance solver if time permits in the end. Then we have we have seen TVM, how we can store a function. See, it says TVM function. It says TVM function, not TVM solver. It says TVM function. So we can somehow store function and we can use it in the graph. So now the next part is the amortization. And in amortization, we can see amortization table, we can find balance, we can find interest paid, and we can find the principal paid. So what is this amortization and how we can use this amortization? So amortization is an accounting technique used to periodically lower the book value of a loan. So let's say you have taken a loan of some kind of, and you want to calculate how the value of loan, the value of interest, the value of principal, and how your balances are reducing. You can always create an amortization table, and from that table you can find all the values. Like in amortization, there is a syntax for amortization table, where you need to put the payment, number of payment, how many payments are there you want to show in a table. So this NPMT is something which is somewhat related to calculator. So we are telling calculator to show this number of payments. So let's say you have taken a loan for 20 years or 50 years or 30 years. So you want to see only the value from first to 10 years. Okay. So you can tell the calculator, like, I want the value only from 0 to 10 years, like only 10 years value show me. You can also put it any value here, but the list will go long. So you have to somewhat confine the list. Then you need to put how many, the amount paid. Oh, sorry. So now you have to put the number of payments, like how many payments you have to do. Okay. So if you have a 20-year plan, you have taken a home loan. I don't know how many of you have taken a home loan. So if you have taken a home loan for 20 years, so every month you have to pay your home loan, and you have to pay certain amount in the interest, you have to pay certain amount as a principal, and you will left with the certain amount as a balance for next month. So here N is something, how many payments you have to pay. So for 20 years, if you multiplied it by 12, you can calculate like that much amount of payment you need to done. Then at what interest rate you have taken the loan. Then what is the present value? What is the present value? Then is there any payment, additional payment you are doing per month? If not, just skip it. So whatever comes under the square bracket, you can skip it. Okay, you can skip it. You don't put 0 or anything else. You can skip it. Just press comma and just go to the other field. Then all the similar value, all the same values, like FP is a future value, payment per year, then compounding period a year, then a payment at. Okay. And you can even round the values. Okay, you can round the values to 2 decimal, 3 decimal, if you can mention in the end like what is the round value you want to find. So here amortization table gives you a matrix. Okay, it gives you some kind of matrix where there will be 4 columns. Okay, Number one column will show you payment number. Okay, installment number one, installment number two, installment number three. Like that, it will give you the n payment, whatever you have mentioned in the first argument. Let's say you want to see only 10 figures, 10 installments. It will show you only 0 to 10. Okay. In the second column, it will show you the amount paid as an interest. Okay, what is the amount paid as an interest? It will show you in the second column. Then in the third column, it will show you the principal you are paying on that. So if you have taken some loan, you have to pay interest on that and some principal. Okay, then you will left with some balance, and then on that balance you have to pay some interest, then the principal, then you will left with some principal. Balance. So these are the four columns. First, payment. Second, amount paid to the interest. Then the principal, the amount paid to the principal. Then you have left with a balance. Okay. So this is the first option available in the amortization menu. So amortization table looks something like this. Second option is balance. Okay, second option
Hassan,
is,
let's do one at a time. Let's do one at a time.
Yeah.
Let me
Let me give it to John so that John can show you with an example what I was telling you and how we can find those things. Okay, John, over to you. You can just take over.
Thanks, Hassan. Thanks, excellent. Every one of us, I think, if there's anyone here in our group who's not taken a loan or some kind of thing on EMI, whether you bought some, you've not done anything on EMI, you've never got a loan, you've never taken anything, please raise your hand. We need to give you an applause, because the other part, it's everyone who's even bought something on Amazon. I do a lot of, there's this EMI, convert to EMI kind of a thing. That is something when I found that, is there anyone here who's never, just raise your hand. Anyone? Oh, wow. Arif. One sec.
Yeah, I think John, you can run a poll as well. Like they can anonymously tell.
Did you hear my applause?
No.
No? Okay, that audio didn't come through. Okay, I just, but anyway, when, like Hassan said, if you take a loan or if you buy something on EMI, there's a plan. If you take a car loan and they give you a table, that's basically this amortization table. And you can create that. In fact, you can use that as a way to find out how many more is left. What's the balance? Sometimes you call and say, so much balance. Sometimes people get into credit cards and you're not able to pay up. And then the bank comes to you and says that, hey, we can do some kind of settlement. And so there are these calculations that's possible. And that's why I said, some of these things perhaps is not directly related to your AI or even AA, but it gives fabulous opportunities for you to connect and collaborate with your economics teacher or your business studies teacher, and how to bring this amortization table. I have not taught AI, so if there are teachers who have done AI, and if this kind of thing, you develop as an activity, or there is an IA that a student has been doing on maybe, comparing loans. I think Mrs. Naik at one point of time, yes, exactly. She said, at one point she said, great interest rate. We'll come to that. There's one option on the calculator which says interest conversion. We'll come to number 5, where you're talking about nominal interest and effective interest rate. And I frankly had no idea what that meant till I had to read about it in preparation for this webinar, and said, oh, wow, that makes sense. So we'll come to that, okay? Because sometimes you have questions that's given to you, and we get into the math of it and say, okay, how do you convert, and which one is better or which one is not? But in the context of an IA, like Mrs. Naik said, or in the context of a interdisciplinary project, if your school is involved in, these kind of options really help when you look at it, different ways, which say, okay, 5.2%, I've got a question, I'm jumping ahead of the gun, I know, but I'll come to that later on, where there are options in your TI Nspire that we can use, not just the finance solver. That's all, my hope and dream was that let's open our eyes to other things. And we, like I said, we're just focusing on one menu today, all right? So let's not take away from what Hassan has been doing, amortization. So let's go with this amortization. Let's take, for instance, that we bought something for 20,000 rupees, okay? And Amazon says, you got to pay back in 12 equal monthly installments at the rate of 5%. Is everyone clear with my question I just made up of? Okay, 20,000 rupees is something you made a purchase to be paid back in Indian rupees, okay? Jalaj and Marie and anyone else who's here, we're talking about Indian rupees here. or you want to make it dollars, and I don't want to think about dollars right now. It scares me every time I order something in dollars. So 20,000 rupees from Amazon to be paid back in 1 year, equal monthly payments, 5% interest, okay? How do we get a table? How do we get a chart? And like Hassan said, the way this displays this information is in the form of a matrix. So let's just go play around with it and come to this amortization table, all right? But before we go there, let's take a look at the syntax, because it will give you what is it? The function, almost like a function, Amorttt, capital T, BL. This is the first time I'm seeing something with a capital, okay? Normally when you write something, it goes in lowercase. So I think even as we were preparing, I was like looking at differences in this menu, I mean, like I told you earlier about the scratch pad and all. So every small thing I'm curious about, okay, there's something more here. So like Hassan said, how do we know this syntax, okay? Let's go to the book, the catalog, okay? So good way to review, okay? So we go to the menu, and under amortization, if you look at the amortization table, I can just take a look at that syntax. I'll copy it quickly, and I will hit escape and come back to this menu. I go to menu, action, insert the comment, okay, so that I can copy and paste my syntax, and you can say that it's number of payments. I just want to say something about that first column that Hassan pointed out. It's like how many entries you want in the table, okay? So we said 12. So obviously we have a maximum of 12 entries. You can't say I want 15 entries. Here's the thing, it will not do like 5 to 12. It will start with the first entry. Okay, so that first column, I just wanted to let you know that it starts with that first entry. Capital N is talking about, well, how many are there? Okay, so that's 12. So you could have said, if I go back to my menu, you could have gone and said, finance, amortization table that we want out of the 12, we want 10 entries. Okay, so I could have done 12 because there are 12 totally, but I'm just trying to see, help you see that how the table can be constructed, but it has to be from the number 1. It can't be the last 10, all right? So I can say how many entries I want. It's almost like saying how many rows are there, okay? So the first 10 entries out of 12, the next one is 12. Capital N stands for how many entries are there. We said, to be repaid back in 12 months. Interest, we made up our mind that it's going to be 5% interest, and the present value is going out, right? It's almost like, something that we're trying to pay back, right? So the present value is negative, and we said, how much money did I say it was? 20,000, huh?
Yeah, 20,000.
20,000. Okay, there we go. That is 20,000. Looks like 20,000 to me. Payment is what we want to find out. We don't know what that is going to be. I'll just leave it a blank. And whenever you leave it as a blank, that finance solver you leave as a blank, you can put it as, comma. All right.
Yeah, but
final
John,
value, I'll enter it as a 0 because
John,
at the end of
Hassan,
yeah.
See, we are taking loan in this case, so we need the cash is inflow, so we need to put positive. We are not.
It's positive.
We are not giving. The cash is not outflow. It is coming in our pocket because we are taking a loan.
It's not like I'm paying. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, that's right. It is coming to us. Thank you. But I hope this is understood when you just like in the finance solver, when you just skip that thing, I can leave it as a blank because I'm not making any payment. But I have come to the point where final value has to be 0. It has to be completed, right, in the 12-month period, and comma, then payment per year. All right, that's also blank, right? And compounded yearly, is that also blank? Yeah, and I think that's about it, right? And I can just enter.
John, no. See, in the amortization table, you are paying. You have taken a loan for 1 year, so every month you have to pay. So payment per year will be 12, and
I'm sorry.
CPY
which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the after 0, PPY. Yeah, it will be 12. Yeah, because we are paying per month basis. Every month we have to pay.
You're paying 12 times. I'm sorry. Yes. And then compounded year per year is it
that will become 12 also.
Is that also 12?
Yeah. Same as PPY.
5% per annum, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And payment at do we have to enter a 0 or something like that at the start of the year?
You can leave
0.
Yeah, 0. You can
Okay.
even leave it blank. Yeah.
I think many times, the EMI goes out in the start of the year. Yogita just added negative and I wrote negative. I mean, shall we just see what happens? She wrote negative. I mean, let's see what the table represented. And we can even see, because initially when I was looking at this option of amortization table, as I said, terrible when we are not teaching all this fun money related subject, because, this is something that all of us are part of, and this is what we should be doing, sometimes, so anyway, let me just see what the table looks like. Okay, I'm going to hit enter, and there's my matrix. Okay. And if I had entered it as positive, if I'd entered it as negative, I would have got all these values as positive. Okay. So this means that I'm paying, it's leaving my hand. So I think Hassan's perspective, as he said, was the loan is being given to us, and therefore it's positive. But now the table says how much do I owe. Okay, so the first column talks about the first 10 entries. As you can see, it will be 10 entries here. And second column talks about the interest that is paid, amount paid in interest. Okay, so the first month, how much am I paying? Amount paid in interest. The second is the principal. All right, and then there's the total. So this is to 20,000 as it says. All right, and that is how much is left, the balance. The last column, the fourth column, that's the balance that's left. Okay, now is everyone clear with how this table has appeared? Yogita says negative 20,000. Let's take a look at what happens when we put a negative 20,000. I go here, I just enter a negative 20,000. It will just change the sign. Okay, here we go. Can you see that? So when you say balance is how much we need to pay, right? Balance is how much I need to pay. Shouldn't that be negative? How much I need to pay. So that is why I think I put that. Even I had done that, Hassan. I mean, what is your perspective? We interpret negative as money that's going away from our hands.
Yeah, I can interpret it like you have given 20,000 to someone,
Anji.
And in first installment you have got some interest as and a principal, and now that person has left with 18,371 to pay.
For me, this is how I've interpreted it. That is why I interpreted it as positive, but it's good that we saw both ways, because the money is leaving and I know that pehla hi I'm owing, so I have to give. And so the balance, when I look at the balance, it's like I need to give. Either way, I mean, it's up to our interpretation. Money cannot be negative. It is for us to interpret and say it's leaving my hand, it will be negative. Okay, so trying to keep the same line of thought when we were using the finance solver as well as now. But here are some fun things to do with the table. You might think, what's the great thing about the table? Table to ban gaya. It's okay whether Yogita wants to enter negative 20,000 or whether Hassan wants to enter negative 20,000. What can we do with the table? Like Mrs. Naik was saying, what can we do with it? The internal assessment. When there are questions about, when you come together and say, okay, how much balance is required? Here you can start playing around with it. Here you can start saying things like, okay, let's just save this table as TBL. All right, I'm going to save the table. And now, what you have done earlier in other aspects that you could define the table. I just defined table as a variable, TBL, the entire table. Now with this defined table, there are other fun things that's there. Okay, so if I go on menu and under the finance, under amortization, if I want to find out the balance that's left between, let's say I've done, up until five months I've paid, and I want to find out the balance that's left. Okay, I can play around with it and say, okay, I want the balance that's left after the fifth, comma, from this table that I have defined, TBL, sorry, can you see it became bold? So I've done 5 payments. How much more is left? How much total balance is left? Hit enter. There you go. We make a phone call and ask the bank. And in the same way, I can do the other bits also. All right. So I go to menu. Where's that amortization? And I say, okay, what was the interest paid or how much? And this is the total interest. Okay, you can do sigma X. Sigma stands for what is the total interest did I pay from the 1st to the 12th from the table, referring to the table. From the 1st, what was the total interest I paid? Oops, did I miss something out?
Yeah, I think you stored this matrix, not the.
Oh, up till 10. I just stored up till 10. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, there you go. That's the total interest. Okay, I just, the table, if I'd made the whole table and then I could have made up till, up until, so why don't we go and change that quickly? Okay, so if I go to the table and I bring it down, okay, I'll say I want it for the 12. I get the 12. I restore that table, okay, and I bring that guy down. Okay, now if I want and say that I want the total interest that was paid, or the total payment that was paid from 1 to 12 from that table, that was the total interest that was paid. That's interesting, huh? Okay, that is just 5%, by the way. And in the same way, I can go and find out, let's say I want to do the total amount that was paid. Hassan, do you want to share that? There was something you had about that, because this is a good way to check that, that Axis Bank. Here you go. This is an amount, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, depending upon what your age is right now. This is an actual thing. Can you zoom in a little bit? This is an actual amount. So let's just verify using this table, all right? A bank EMI of 43690. I trust you have your calculators with you, your handhelds with you. Please, please, please try this thing out, okay? So this is the amount that we have to work with, okay? 43690 has been given to us and you got to pay it back. So people who want to try it, American Express credit card, you can try that out. And Axis Bank credit card that's there. The numbers are a little short. Okay, we'll take a look at one of them that Hassan has highlighted. Maybe you can highlight it with a different color. Okay, and there it says that the EMI plan, we can verify this, all right? So 12-month period, so 43,690 is given to us. We are paying back at a 14% interest. Hassan has had 14% interest in 12 months. Let's try it out and let's verify whether that total interest happens to be what that number is given here for American Express. Everyone okay with it? You know where we are going with it? Yes, give me a thumbs up if you have understood the question. Everyone using your calculator, 43,690 is the amount that's loaned to us at 14% interest, 14, 12 months to be paid in 12. You can try for the other ones later on when you have the time. But today, we are going to check the total interest to be that way, okay, using this table. Is everyone clear? Shall we do it? All right, here we go. So I'm going to share, okay, this thing I need number chala gaya. You have to tell me, okay, 43690, whatever that was. So here we go. I'm on my table. I am going to enter another table. So I have my syntax here, and I hope I remember that. So it's payment, meaning number of payments in this is 12, right? It's 12. N refers to...
you can copy and paste, John, in the next screen. Like,
did I copy it earlier? I'm just wondering.
So just go to that and it will highlight it and just press enter.
I'm on that. One sec.
No, use your navigation pad, no? Up and down. Yeah, just go up, just hit enter. Yeah, again hit enter, so it will say.
Okay, just a sec. This is a really cool trick, huh, Hassan, by the way.
Just hit enter again.
Hit enter, why?
So,
I will take off this thing, na, the copyright thing.
I thought you are saving the comment.
No. Comment nahi. Mere ko ye acha, just to see the thing. Okay, fine. I thought, okay. All right. This is cool. Okay. So I'm going to go, I'm on table. I'm going to make the table for this Axis Bank thing. So let's all do it together. Okay. So we are making the table. It said how many payments. So we're going to take the whole table, right? Because we want to get the total interest. Is that right? So we're going to take 12. Now, capital N refers to how many payments. So there are 12. Okay. So the first N payment talks about how many entries we want to see from the first one. But since we want the total interest to compare that, we'll do the first one is also 12. Capital N is also 12. Rate of interest, they said, was 14. That was the option we wanted to compare. Present value, I'm going to put negative. Okay. This is a little tricky. Try and understand. We are paying back. Present value is the money that they're given.
So,
Hassan says,
see,
keep it positive, chalo.
Yeah, keep it positive. Yeah.
All right. So what was the number? 43690?
43690.
43690 is the amount that they have given us. Future value must be 0 because we got to pay back. All right. And then payment per year. We got to make 12 payments per year, right? And the compounding per year is also 12. All right. And what is the next one? payment at, we'll make it, is it 0, the last one, or whatever? Doesn't matter, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, you can even press enter.
0 or 1 doesn't matter. And that, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Did I miss out anything? Payment, have I missed out payment?
Yeah, payment.
Yeah, I missed out payment. So I have present value is 43690. Payment value has to, that is what we want to find out. I'll put a balance, I'll put a blank there, okay? So you can see the blank is for that. So 43690 is the present value. Payment, I've entered a blank because I don't know what that is. I'm trying to calculate that from the table, and future value must be 0. I'm going to calculate all this, and here we go. I got the table, okay? And there you go. I've got the whole thing for this case. Now I'm going to store this as a table, and I'm going to use that table here, and that's stored. Now I'm going to compare using this total interest and the total principal features that are there with that, was it American Express, something like that we had. So we're going to go to menu, and I'm going to go through that amortization function of the total interest that was paid from 1 to 12, referring to this particular table, and I get the value as negative 3383.59. Negative 3,383.59. Let's go to that, what do you call that? That screen that you shared about, yeah. 3384, I had 338, so it's rounded off, right? So there are 3384, there you go. All right, so this is a good way that you can take some real examples and have fun in the class. All right, bringing the business teacher, the other things and all. And there are these other options that you can go out. Of course, you know, just like I did the interest period, for lack of time, I just want to hand it over back to Hassan to do other fun things with us. But you can take a look at the total principle. Yeah, and then, you know, there are other questions also where you can say, if you were to change the plan and pay faster, you know, I mean, how much should you pay to be able to try and close it in, let's say, in the next 2 years? If there is, like, you know, it's like Hassan said, sometimes, you know, you have a house loan for like 20 years, and this one is like, we were just focusing on 12 installment periods. John, can you scroll up to show your, sorry?
Yeah, that's what, please read.
Here we go. Is that the one that you asked, Marie? Any questions on that? Any doubts? Anything is wrong?
Yeah, and I want to add one thing here, like you got interest in as a negative sign. So it indicates that the cash is outflow.
Indicates?
So it indicates that,
going out.
Yeah, you have to pay that.
Good for that, those kind of discussion, no? Okay. Now, we have so much to share today. I'm glad people are here, okay? It's almost 4:18, but I'm always concerned about the time that we have at hand. So we have taken a look at finance solver, TVM functions, amortization. Hassan is going to talk about cash flows. And we've got 2 more things that are smaller, but still can be used, okay? Interest conversion, I've got a nice question on that. And then days between dates. So let's look at cash flows. Over to my good friend Hassan. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, John. So we have seen amortization table. So what we can do with the amortization, we have seen, like, we can generate a table. We can even find balance. Balance has its own syntax as well. Like, if you don't want to make a amortization table and you just want to find the balance after certain amount of installment, you can directly find using this syntax. Or if you have the amortization table saved, you can even use this syntax what John has already shown you. Similarly, for interest, you can use the direct syntax as well, which is available with this calculator. Like, you can directly find the interest from certain period to certain period. Like, they have given the payment 1 to payment 2. Like, if you want to find the cumulative interest from, let's say, 3rd installment to 5th installment, you can find it directly by using the syntax. Or if you have already drawn the amortization table, you can even find with a smaller syntax here. So it is better to make amortization table and save it, and then you can use it. Even you can make a graph of balance. You can show the student, like, when the balance is going to be 0, and you can change one of the parameters inside this syntax, and you can have a conversation with the student, like, if we change this setting, this value to that value, if we change interest rate, if we change number of period, how the balance is going to behave in the graph. So that is why they have given a syntax, like you can draw a graph of it. Then you can find principal as well, like you can find the amount of principal what you have all paid from certain period to certain period. So there is a syntax given for that also. So that means if the syntax is given for inside a calculator, you can store it as a function, you can use it on a graph. So this is how these amortization menu use, and you can do certain things from it. We have seen this example. Now let's come to the cash flow. See, I'm not an expert on this cash flow, as John.
Neither am I. Cash just seems to flow. So
Yeah.
this is
but
out. I didn't mean to say in, out.
Yeah, but still I have one example for you. Like let's just see where we can get this menu. Let me just share my whole screen. So okay, so we have seen in the menu, we have seen finance, we have seen finance solver, we have seen TBM, we have seen amortization. Now there is a cash flow. Okay, so from my side is always outflow. Okay, it never comes in. So I'm very weak on this, but still I have an example for you how you can calculate the cash flow. If we had any business teacher or finance teacher, it would have been a great, like they can share their views. So we have three available options here, like net present value, NPV, internal rate of return, IRR, and MIRR. So these are the pure business terminologies, finance terminologies. I just want to highlight that how you can use these two. Okay, 1 and 2. Third, you can always come to us, like how we can use MIRR and what is exactly the meaning of this. So let me just take you to the presentation, and let me just show you, like IRR has a syntax, same as net present value has a syntax. Similarly, MIRR has its own syntax. Okay, so what I understood is, let's say you have two projects. Okay, you want to consider one of the projects from these two. You want to select which project will be the better option for you. So for that project, you have a certain cash flow over a period of time, and you want to select like which project you want to have, you want to select. Okay, it's as simple as that. Which project you want to select, which gives you the profit. The project you select will be the project which gives you the profit. You won't select the project which gives you a loss. Okay, so how to calculate a profit in terms of business. Okay, so there's net present value and IRR comes into picture. Okay, so if your IRR, let me just first take you to NPV. So if your net present value of the project, so you calculate your net present value of your project, and it comes greater than 0. So it says like net present value, calculate the sum of present value of a cash inflow and outflow. So whatever inflow or outflow is there in the project, it gives you the sum. Okay, if the sum comes as positive, it indicates the profitable investment. So if your net present value comes greater than 0, it is a profitable investment for you. So it's very easy to calculate the sum of present value, for cash inflow and outflow. You just need to calculate the cash inflow and outflow. What is your cash inflow and what is your outflow? You can just add them. Okay, I think John, there's a disturbance from your side, so if you can.
I'll turn it off.
Thank you. So, but in the project there are certain interest rate. So now these interest rates are discounted. Okay, so interest rate in a project is a rate by which to discount the cash flow. You discounts the cash flow. I'm just telling you the theory of it. I don't know much, but you can even explore. and you can come to us like, yes, this is what they indicate actually. So interest rate is the rate by which to discount the cash flow. Okay, so whatever cash is going out or cash is coming in, outflow or inflow, you have to discount. Okay, so here in this question, consider a project which following expected cash flow. Okay, so year one you have to invest, so cash is outflow, 5,000 you are investing in the project. Next year you get 1,000, second year you get 15,000 or 1,500, next year the third year you get 4,000. Now it says if the discount rate is 5%, so it says now discount rate is 5%, what is the project's net present value? Now discount is 5%, they have given the cash flow for each year, like first year you have to invest, then for the consecutive years the cash is coming in. Discount rate is 5%. Now we have to check whether the project is successful or not, whether it is a profitable or a loss for us. So how we can do this? Yeah, here. So we can go to finance, we can go to cash flow, and first we need to find the net present value. Okay, so we go to net present value. Okay, it doesn't come here. Okay, so let me just add a new page. Let me just add a new page. Calculator page, menu, finance, cash flow, net present value. So if I don't know the syntax, what I need to do is I need to just go to the catalog and find the NPV and just copy and paste so that I can see what I'm writing. So here you can see on my presentation screen, like NPV has certain parameters to enter, like first interest rate, which is nothing but the discount rate given in the project. Then cash flow 0. So first year, the 0th year, whatever the cash flow is, you have to write it there. Then the consecutive cash flow will come as a list. So the next consecutive cash flows after the first initial investment, whatever cash flow is there after the initial year comes as a list in this as a separate argument. So NPV will take first argument as interest rate. So here interest rate is 5%. Interest rate and discount rate will be similar in the project. So 5%, comma, cash flow for the first year, initial year will be minus 5,000 because it's an investment, cash is going out. Then put comma and then put a list. So for list, we need this curly brackets. For list, 1,000, comma, 1,500, comma, 4,000. So this is what the NPV syntax looks like. Interest rate, cash flow at a 0th year, first year, the initial stage, then the list of the consecutive years. Just press enter. It gives you certain value of NPV. So it gives you a value which is greater than 0. So it indicates that this project will be profitable investment for us because it is not giving me the lesser value, the value less than 0. So let's see if we change, let's say second year, what happens is second year we need to invest more. Okay, second year we need to push more for the project, like I have to invest more in this project. Let's see, for the second year you have given 1,500 again, hit enter. It gives you a negative value. It gives you a negative value. Why? Because you have given 6,500 as an investment in a project, but till 3 year you have got only 5,000 rupees at a discount rate of 5%. So net present value will give you a negative which is less than 0. You concludes that it's a loss for you. So this project is loss for you. So you cannot invest in the project where NPV states a less than 0. You can even see by yourself, like you are investing 6,500, you are not getting anything but just 5,000. So there is a loss in this project. So you will not accept if there is a loss in a project. So NPV indicates when to accept and when not to accept the present value.
Arif said something about 15.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's asking, like, if we change the value of discount rate Even then we are getting a negative value. If I change to 15%, it gives me again a negative value. So what this interest rate indicates, I think if we had any business educator here,
Seriously.
we would have got a real answer, like why we are getting. I'm just showing you how you can do that, like how you can find NPV. This is how you can find NPV. You can even explore and you can come with a solution like what is the exact this interest rate indicates, because these are the pure finance terminology.
Purely, and I don't understand. I am going to talk to some of my business studies teachers also, and I'm also going to come back. So Mrs. Naik question is very valid. What does that 5% discount mean? I really don't know. I just see the word discount and I go for it. I mean, I'm talking in practical life, but in the context of this question, how to interpret it, we just need somebody who understands. So if there's anyone here in our midst who, please feel free to share. Okay, this is collaborative learning. We are all here to.
Yes.
We are all in it together. So
Even this discount, what is this? If we know what is this discount indicates, we would know what is this IIR indicates in actual, because if IIR is greater than discount value, if internal rate of return is greater than discount what you are giving for the project, the project will be a profitable investment. So if IRR is greater than discount, then there is a profitable then it is a profitable project. So if I take same values like minus 5,000 comma and 1,000 comma mine that positive 1,500, then 4,000, it gives me a positive return which is greater than the discount rate. So
discount.
it gives me 11% return. So it is giving me 11% return in a project. So project is successful because discount rate is 5% and the return rate is more than that. So if we change 1,500 positive to negative, let's see what is the return rate here. So return rate is negative, so it is less than the discount rate. So in this case, you can see like if we have 15% and it is always less than 15%, so it's not a profitable investment for us. So this is what my understanding is. How you can solve cash flow using calculator is like this. Like it has a syntax, certain syntax. Syntax has certain arguments are pure business terms, financial terms. We can explore and we can come back and we can have a discussion like these are the things we have learned from a previous session. So to conclude with, we have seen finance solver, we have seen what TVM can do, we have seen amortization, we have seen cash flow. How we haven't gone to the full theory of cash flow, but we have seen how to solve cash flow in a calculator. And then now there are two things which is very interesting and important. uh, interest conversion. Okay, we don't know what is interest conversion. We don't yeah, days between the dates are very easy. It says days between the days, so you put 2 days, you get a result of number of days. But what is this interest conversion? One is nominal interest rate, second effective interest rate. So here is an interesting thing about the effective interest rate and nominal interest rate. So interest rate generally usually we take interest, the loans on credit card or any other from any other bank or on any product. So generally we shop from Amazon or Flipkart or any other consumer website. We usually take EMIs. Okay, so is there any question? Ramesh Singh said it may be
Maybe
interest
it may be
between.
interested to decide whether it is more than the rate charged by bank to fund the project. It may be interested to decide whether which one. I mean, can you just unmute him so that he can speak out?
You can unmute because now you are
One
the
second, one second,
host.
one second,
Yeah.
one second, one second. Manish. Yes, Ramesh sir, you can speak.
Yes, sir. Actually, let us suppose that I'm going to start one project. Actually, I have studied economics a little bit, but I may not be correct, but as far as I remember, it's like suppose if I want to start one business, in that I have taken loan from bank. So bank, they are going to charge some interest rate. So here, how much I am going to means suppose bank, they are charging a 6% rate of interest, and if I am getting 7% return from the business, then of course in that case you can say that NPV will, it will be positive, and I should go for the project. Otherwise, I should leave that.
Correct, correct.
So
That's
it
right.
may be like that, but I'm not sure. But it should be like that, sir.
But
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for your input, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
And
you, sir.
I think one day we should have, just as we talk about other educators. Whenever, I mean, this will be a great thing when we do something like this. To just have, but it's also, like I said at the beginning. This is one option that we have to collaborate with interdisciplinary teachers, and we say there's math involved and everything. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to take what tools we have and then interact with others. Great, thank you so much, Ramesh sir. Go ahead, Hassan, continue.
Yeah. So this interest conversion. So we have two kind of interest. Am I mute? No. Okay. Nominal interest rate and effective interest rate. So whenever you buy a certain kind of product and you put it in on EMI, or you take loan, certain kind of loan, every time bank or credit card companies advertise that we are giving at a certain rate of interest. Okay. So the interest rate that we see advertised are nominal interest rate. Okay. So there is one more terminology which says APR. You can explore about APR. There is one terminology used synonym with nominal interest rate, APR. It is a value of interest which is advertised by the credit card companies or a bank. If you go for a loan, they advertise it like, I give you at certain price, certain rate of interest, let's say 10%, 12%, 20%. You take a personal loan at 18%. Okay. They assume, why it is a nominal interest rate, because they assume that interest is only compounded once a year. Okay. We never ask a bank or a credit card company like, okay, you are giving me at a certain rate of interest, what is the compounding, what is the compounding period of it? We never ask. We assume that it is a compounding once a year.
Yeah.
But in reality many credit products actually compound far more frequent. For example, they do compound quarterly. They don't tell you, but they do a compounding quarterly. They do weekly. They can do daily. We don't know. We have to ask a bank or a credit provider like, okay, you are giving me a certain amount of money at a certain amount of interest. What is the compounding period? So here comes the nominal and effective interest rate. So nominal is what you have, what you see. It is nominal. Okay. It's as simple as that. Credit card company says 20% rate of interest. It is nominal for me. But in actual, if they are compounding far more frequently, then we have to calculate the effective rate of interest. Let's say they are compounding quarterly. We have to find the effective rate uh, which is compounding quarterly. So I have taken an example. John will talk about more on this. Let's say you have owned $20,000 at a rate of 20%. So we assume that this 20% rate of interest is compounded annually. Okay. We assume that. So for first year, I have to pay only 4,000 rupees, $4,000, nothing more than that, because it is a nominal. But in actual, if credit provider is compounding daily, let's say they are compounding it daily, then my interest will going to be changed. So my effective rate of interest for that 1 year will become 22.13%. And for that particular 1 year, first year, they will charge 4,426 rupees. So there is a saying, don't be fooled by advertisers number, know your effective rate. So to find effective rate of interest, we use interest conversion. So if we have given with the effective rate of interest, we can find nominal. if we have given, generally we have been given with a nominal rate of interest, we can find effective rate of interest by just converting the nominal to effective. So over to John, he will explain you more on this by using or solving a few examples.
Thank you, Hassan. I just have some very simple questions just to illustrate how that option is used. But Hassan did a great job in explaining the difference between nominal rate. Nominal rate, just to sum up very quickly, it's the the rate of interest. By the way, the APR is, I think, annual percentage rate, because that itself says that that's compounded for the year. But even when we do questions on compound interest, sometimes we have, compounded quarterly or compounded fortnightly. That same idea that there's an effective rate of interest and there's a nominal, and the nominal refers to compounded annually. So this is just a very, very quick example of, calculate the effective and the nominal is given. So if the nominal was given at 7.2% compounded fortnightly, and there are sometimes, questions that, which is a better investment. Sometimes in SAT exams, you have this kind of stuff, that, they'll have different schemes. It might be the same rate of interest, but at, compounded different periods, like, compounded fortnightly, compounded daily, compounded, and then ABCD, whatever the multiple choice. And so an SAT kind of question, also you could use something of this where, you're deciding which loan option is better. Basically comparing, the effective rate of interest. So here's the syntax for it. So we'll just take a look at this. Calculate the effective rate of interest for the following nominal rates. The nominal rate is 7.2% per annum. As I said, it's for the year. And we want to do it fortnightly. Fortnightly, so if you have 52 weeks in a year, this should be about 26 fortnights. Daily is daily, and then quarterly is 4. So let's just quickly jump over to the calculator. And here I have on my menu, I go to menu, interest conversion. I'm going to take a look at effective interest rate. I want the effective interest rate, the syntax. Oh, by the way, I should have gone through that. I should have showed the menu. So all of you can learn as we learned. It's not that I knew all this, but the best way to learn is go to the menu. All right. So the menu, as Hassan said, you can just look at, these are arranged according to, the menu. So you can go at amortization. He showed you how you can just put the letters, but that's on this option, the book option. When you type in N, so if I just do EFF, so E, if I just E, and you can see EFF here. So that's arranged according to the alphabetical order. But if you go on the second one, which is grouped according to the particular menu. So I find this also interesting. So you can go between, so if you're looking at interest conversion and then you're looking at interest rate, and there you have that syntax. So the syntax is EFF, nominal rate, comma, how many times it's being compounded, the compounding period, all right? So I come out of this option and I go through my menu, finance, and we're looking at the interest conversion to an effective interest. And I had something like 7.2. That was the nominal rate, comma, I have 26. All right, I hope I didn't put too many gaps. Okay. All right, so that's 7.45. And always, 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 even though the banks don't advertise it, or whether the credit card company, no matter what happens, effective will always be greater than nominal. All right, so it's a good way to help students see that. So this is a great example. I mean, it's very simple, as you can see. You can just use that. You can go to menu. I'm doing a second example. Interest rate conversion, effective interest rate. Put down the nominal rate first. So I'll just take a look at that quarterly one. That was 3.8. Okay, comma, compounded quarterly. If I have quarterly, I just put the compounding period. That was the syntax, and I just hit enter, and you can see that even here, the effective rate will always be greater. Okay, and likewise, you can do the other way around also. So you can go quickly to the catalog, and here you can look at the nominal. What do you call it? The syntax for nominal, again, it's the same thing. The nominal is nominal effective rate, and the period of compounding. All right. So I go back to my, and if I take a look at just go to this, and finance, interest conversion, and I have nominal interest rate. So if there's a nice question, something like this, can you see that? I said, if for the same effective interest, if you can see the question, calculate the nominal interest rate for the following effective rate of 6.4% per annum if it was compounded fortnightly, and so on and so forth. So if I just put in 6.4, Yeah, fortnightly again, 26. There you go. So there again, you can see that the nominal rate is 6.21, which, like I said, is going to be lower than the effective. All right. So this was just another quick thing about the interest conversion. The next one, like Hassan said, is a day, days between dates.
John, there one
There's
comment
a
like,
question.
can you share screen, please? I think they are not able to see your screen.
Why? You can't see? Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. I can see your screen. Is anybody else having a problem seeing a John screen?
Just a sec.
We can't see Girish
We
Kumar.
can't see. Me too, we can't see. Oh, how so sad. Now can you see?
I can see.
Now you can see. I'll do it again. Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Are?
No. Oh my God. So what you can do, John, you can just share the screen, or maybe
One sec.
you can.
Ah. One
Uh,
sec, huh?
no, Shada ma'am, I am not sharing. John was sharing, so let John figure out what is the problem.
But till now it was seeing, huh? Let me just stop and share it again. Can you see now? I can see Hassan's name. Hassan, are you sharing? Someone said yes. Oh, yes, we can't see. I thought yes, we can see. Hassan, can you see?
Oh, I think John, because you are pinned and this is the speaker's view. When I speak, the screen switches. So what I'll do, I'll just mute myself.
Huh. There's a lot of rain in the background, and therefore there's a lot of noise also. So Hassan, now can you see my screen? Now they're saying no, not yet. Nope is the answer. What's going on? Okay.
But I can see it throughout like this. I can see a screen. You
Um,
never.
we can hear the rain
Are you
drop. Yes,
sharing?
it's not just a drop, Ramesh. Maybe the panelists can. I mean, there's something.
Yeah. So I think John, you can just directly share the screen from Zoom. Then
No,
I
I
think that
can't.
you can't.
No. But prior to this, they could see. बीच में क्या हो गया? So why don't you do something, Hassan? Just share your screen, okay? Let's avoid this confusion, and I'll just go through it. Just you go share your screen, the calculator, just the calculator software.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. I'll just okay. Hassan is showing the thing to us. So just go on the menu first. I'll just help them see that. Okay, go on the menu, meaning the catalog. Catalog. Everyone, I'm just going to repeat the whole thing again. Catalog. What Hassan showed was the first option, number one, where it is at where it gives according to alphabetical order. So EFF there is the effective rate of interest, and you have the syntax for it there. But option number two, go to option number two. It's grouped according to the menu. So if I go on finance, yes, hit that, and then go down to interest conversion, and then choose effective. That's another way to search. Okay, so now you copy there, Hassan. You can copy the go with effective. That's what the first thing I did. Effective rate of interest. So that's the menu. That's the syntax for that. Go back to the calculator screen. Okay, so it's a very simple thing. So just go to finance. Oh, you're inserting the thing. Okay, go ahead. Okay. It was not as long as a menu as the other one. So I just thought, okay, go with the interest conversion. Effective rate of interest. The first thing you have to interest is what is the nominal rate of interest. The nominal rate of interest, let me put something, 7.2. Just say 7.2, comma, and let's say it is compounded fortnightly. So let's say 26. Enter. So as you can see that 7.45 is the effective rate compared to a nominal. And like we said, nominal is, compounded annually, whereas the effective one is compounded in this case, it is compounded fortnightly. And if you were to do the same thing, just change the fortnightly to, let's say, quarterly, 26 ko change karke 4 kar do. There you go. You get a different one, but it's still higher than 7.2. Okay, so this is one way to compare, at different rates. If there's the same scheme, just do the same thing for nominal. Let's combine, interest conversion from nominal. Okay, so we want the nominal. Let's say we have 6.4 interest.
So what I'll do,
using the same thing.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm just converting it to, yeah.
Yeah, karo. As you can see, it goes, both ways, two-way street. So that's just the conversion. And since Hassan is already sharing, Hassan, you can share about the days, okay?
Yeah. So this was a part of the interest conversion. Like
always, Yogita, always. Effective will always be greater than the nominal. Nominal wo dikhane ke liye wo log bolenge. That's what Hassan had said. Remember earlier that, what was that? Don't be fooled by something. He had a quote there. Yeah, always. Okay? Go ahead.
So don't be fooled by advertisers. No.
Yeah.
So always the effective rate will be greater than the nominal.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the second last part of the session. So last is very easy. We have a days between the dates. So we have two two formats. Like we have a month date format. Like if you want to find the number of dates between the certain period of time, you can find. We have two kind of format. Both do same thing. Like they will give you the number of days between the days, between the dates. So we have two kind of dates: day month format and month day format. So both will work same. Okay, so I let me use day month format. Okay, let me just share my presentation with you. Like this is my last topic, like example of days between the days. And there are certain things which need to be keep in mind before finding the number of days between the certain period. So year must be between. So in order to find the number of days between the dates, the year must be between 1952 2049. So it should be between 1950 to 2049. You cannot find the date beyond 2049 on this calculator. So it is designed like that. So what I'll do, I'll just take one example, random example. Here you can see the syntax for date to day conversion: date, month, year. So date, month, year, how you can put, you just write day, like today is what? Today is 26. So let me just put 26, comma, the month is
06,
comma 2021, and then press tab to go to the second field. And let's say this month is of only 30 to 30, comma 06, comma 2021. Hit enter, it gives you 4 days. So only 4 days is left till we hit 30. So 26, 27, 28, 29. So see, it is not considering 26 as a whole day. It is not taking 26 as a whole day to calculate. Okay, so it is calculating from the midnight. Okay, so 26th midnight it is calculating. So it is somewhat 27, starting 27. So 27, 28, 29, 30. So keep in mind, like whatever date you put first, it will not consider that day as a whole. Okay, so let me just show you why. So if you put 26 here, it gives you 0. Okay, so it is not considering 26 as a day. So it is calculating the number of days from the midnight. So now if I put 27, it gives me a 1 day. So 26 to 27, it's 1 day.
Yes, yes, Mr. Naik. It's only giving days. It would be
Yeah.
interesting if it had given months and
It won't give you it won't give you years. So
but it's a good thing to know. And I mean, as and if students can see that, and then if you can just probe them to write a widget or a program, just to calculate the number of days or years, the period in between two dates, in any format that is given, or whatever format, So that will be something interesting. When I saw this again, I thought that was interesting. So there are such conversions available that could be used. Go on, Hassan.
So yeah, so I haven't checked. Let me just check. If I put 2050, what happens? Oh, it's giving me. So what it says is wrong. Like manual
No, I didn't know
says.
about that. I don't know about that. Can you
Yeah.
just put something between before 1950?
Yeah, let me just do that.
1940. Just
Because
1947
manual,
August.
yeah,
They put out Independence Day. 15/5. वो करके देखना.
15,
Number of days.
8,
1508, 1947.
47.
और आज का तारीख डालना. अच्छा.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
So it gives you the answer. So the manual, what manual suggests is
Needs to be
wrong.
updated.
Needs to be updated. It's an old one.
Like
So
the software has been
like
updated.
the software has been updated, so does the manual need to be updated. So we need to just remove this.
Yeah.
Like we have verified, like we can do beyond that.
Let me quickly sum up. So today we have seen an entire menu of new possibilities. Okay. And like I started off saying that, the finance solver probably is the least talked about. Probably, can you guys see my video at least? Can everyone see me? Otherwise, I'll be so upset. I'll probably have to turn off and run away. Mrs. Naik, you can see, I'm visible? Are? Same hai. Oh God.
Can you now see? Can you now see?
Storatia.
Huh? No, Jalaj, can you see?
Yes, I can see.
They can only see the handsome person. That's what. So let them see the handsome person, and let them just cheer me. That's okay.
So, John, what you can do, you can just unmute everyone, and then you can. Because
Okay, I'll just unmute everyone, and then they can. Yeah, because the way Hassan just heard the word. What do you call it?
or else you can make me as a host. So let me just control the things from here.
एक मिनट, आप है कहाँ? Why did you make me the host then?
But in that case, your video will go. No, don't do that.
ये कैसा सेटिंग है? वीडियो वैसे भी चला गया है सर. Where are you? Okay. कोई बात नहीं. I just thought this is a good place to just wrap up and make him. How do? Okay, there you go. Hassan, you take it up from there. Now we can, he said. Oh, okay. Thank you that you said that you can see me. So I just wanted to say it was something that we all thought that, something that's probably not spoken about. But I hope that, at the end of today's webinar, we could see. Thank you. I feel included. But I feel there's some new information. There are certain new ideas, and maybe it's not. It gives you more ideas to how to use it further in your own classes. As I said, whether you want to collaborate with your business studies teacher, the economics teacher, and if students are doing perhaps EE in another subject and how they can use technology and how they can use some of these ideas. Let us know by email how you used it. Let us know even, Hassan is going to unmute if there's something you would like to share and, whatever, yeah. Our time of input is over. Over to you all. If you have any Q&A, if you have anything that you'd like to add on to whatever we have talked about today, yeah, over to you. You all are unmuted, so feel free to speak if you want to just.
Only thing I can say is it's quite eye-opening and it's very interesting. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It was a great presentation. Thank you, Hassan, and thank you, John. I think we might get a tiny little bit wiser in investment in our own investments, possibly.
Yeah, I learned a lot. In fact, I was like, when Hassan was talking and we were looking at all these words, again and again, the word interest came, and I was thinking it is an interesting topic, So
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, take these ideas and then come back. And I think, it'll be great. And, if you, when you write, I know Revdi always is in touch with you guys about feedback and ideas for further weekends. What kind of topics? I think somebody had already written. I think Hassan said something. Yogita had written about something, right? So if you guys have ideas that you'd like to explore, discuss, okay? And I said, I always say that this is a platform. It's mutual collaboration. What we can learn from each other. And that was it was a good thing that if we can just even think of bringing in some other subject expert, at least in this case, so I would like to go and talk about and get to know more about cash flows.
Yes, sir. This is Ramesh Chandra, and first of all, I must thank all of you, whether it's Jalas sir or Professor Iyer, or today webinar also. You people are doing really great, and of course, I have got so many ideas, from after attending all these seminars. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Much appreciated. You're welcome, sir. Thank you all. If that's all, then we are at 5 p.m. Thank you so much for sparing 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. It's almost evening here. I don't know how late it is in Indonesia. Probably 2 hours from now ahead of us. But thank you again, and we will see you next Saturday. So God bless you all, and keep learning, keep inspiring, and let's come and keep sharing with one another.
John sir, it was really extremely good today. And it's me, Tamil Selvi, with the Shakti Priya name. I joined in through school ID.
John, we cannot hear you, your voice.
My audio is not
Yeah,
clear?
now it's coming, yeah.
TK. No, I mean, you changed your name, Shakti Priya, to Shakti
No,
Priya?
it's actually Tamil Selvi only.
I
You
know,
always
you told.
call us. So I just accidentally didn't sign out for my school ID. We have a
All right.
common license ID.
Okay.
So it's me. It was really a great session. I learned that graphing, it was very good using
Hassan.
TVM.
But that
Great
gives us
job.
the opportunity, right? I mean, that graph should
Yeah.
not be just restricted to a certain branch. I mean, it's just a tool. It's just one way perspective of looking at things, and that was
So when
fantastic.
we explain to students, I think while tracing the curve, they will come to know as the values keeps changing, they know when the amount future value. Because when we talk about business, we only keep on telling how the investment moves here and there, and then we can't explain them. This is what the future value might be. But when we trace the curve, they will analyze it. I really appreciate that work, Hassan. Thank you.
In fact, for
Thanks
me,
a lot,
after
man.
Hassan showed that, now I was thinking our business calculations are just calculations. We think of those computation kind of thing, whereas even when you go to banks and all, they even give us visual representation through graphs and all that. So even when we are having our IAs or some kind of collaborative interdisciplinary activity in classrooms, we must explore that. So it was something really valuable, that Hassan has brought out in today's webinar.
Yeah, as Hassan said, those are TVM functions. So I think it is a good reminder that they can be treated as functions.
As functions, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you all. Meet you next Saturday.
Thank you all for joining the today's webinar. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Hassan. Thank you, John.
Bye, Marie. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Mohit sir. Bye.